How do you react when a girl keeps liking my stories but doesn't actually reach out or slide into my DMs? I feel like this one's pretty obvious.
So typically, most of the time when I'm seeing those kinds of questions, it's a girl he was dating or a girl that friend zoned him. And so he walked away. He's in no contact at that point. And so typically, what women do in that situation, maybe a few days, it may be a few weeks, it could be a few months since the last time you spoke. It may be a year or two. You just never know. All you know is if you're looking at your stories and you see that this particular girl starts showing up, you can tell she's watching them. And typically, the way that women work is they start watching them to see if you block them or you're mad or you say anything. And if nothing happens, which you shouldn't do anything with that, if she starts liking your posts, you still do nothing. What you're looking for is some kind of direct message, some kind of text or a phone call, or she sends you a WhatsApp message, or FaceTime, was it not a FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, or maybe some of the other. She has to message you directly. That means she wants to talk to you. And so typically it escalates. It goes from watching your stories, then to liking your stories, then they may comment on your stuff. If they comment on your stuff, just like it. Don't respond. Don't say anything. And because it's kind of like the analogy of like the little girl going down to the waves as they're washing up on the beach, and she goes to stick her toe in to see what the water's like, and then a big wave comes up, and then she runs back up on shore. And it's so what happens is when you do nothing, when you're totally indifferent to that, you like her comment, then she recognizes, okay, he's not mad, he's not pissed off at me, he doesn't hate me, so maybe there's still a chance. And then typically you'll get the famous opening line of most women who are lazy because they can be lazy in the world. They go, hey. And then you can take it from there. You're like, hey, what's up? You miss me? Been thinking about me? Thinking about my sexy body again? Love to see you. We should get together. And then you invite her over, especially if you're trying to attract her back, to make dinner at your place, following exactly what's in Seven Principles, get an X back. But in this case, it sounds like for an extended period of time, she's just liking his posts. And so if she's been gone for a while, now all of a sudden she's liking your posts, whoever she's with, or whoever the other guy that has her attention. What that typically means is she's starting to think it's not going to work out with the guy that she's with, or whoever she's sleeping with, or dating, or maybe the ex that she got back together with, or whatever. And what she's really doing is just kind of fishing around to see where you're at, if you're potentially open to it. And so if she's not messaging you, then you have to interpret that as that right now, at the present moment in time, she's not ready to do anything more. And in that case, you should continue, as always, to focus on what you want, which is to find a girl who you think is beautiful, who likes you, who's easygoing, easy to get along with, communicates well, fun to be around, that kind of thing, and actually is single and ready to mingle. And a lot of guys get hung up on this thinking, what can I do to make her come back quicker? But it has to be on her. And if that's all she's doing is liking your posts and watching them but never reaching out, it just means doesn't feel ready for whatever reason. She doesn't feel ready because the attraction's not high enough yet, or she's not free from the other guy yet. That's it. So I would do nothing.
What if it's because it sounds like the scenario has to do with like he thinks that she likes him, but she won't do anything about it in hopes that maybe
it's
he
usually
makes the first move
no.
or she's doing it to catch his attention.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not
there's that
that. The
scenario.
reason he's bringing it up because these are the scenarios I talk about all the time in my video newsletter. This is a girl that something happened with her and she dipped, he went no contact, and now she's liking and watching his stories, but it's not going anywhere beyond that. Probably because he's impatient. It may have just started. It may have been going on for several weeks. But the most important thing is that you bottom line her actions. Her actions show because she's not texting you or calling you directly that she's not ready yet to move things along. This is not some random girl that just started watching the stories. Just because I can tell, these are the kinds of questions that guys ask when they come to me. 80% of the dudes that come to me, it's because something went sideways with a girl. And so if he's concerned about it and he's asking that question, that's what that tells me, that he's in no contact. Maybe he screwed it up. Maybe she went back to her boyfriend or whatever, but now she's back, but that's all she's doing. It's not going any further. So she could be in the middle of a divorce. You don't know. There's lots of scenarios that are similar like that. Maybe she's still living with a guy. I talked to a dude the other night, and the girl he's been dating still lives with a guy she was engaged to, and for many years. And it's kind of hard to get involved in a relationship when the girl that you're dating is still living with the ex fiance because they own property together. Well, that happens a lot, especially when you get a market. It goes the other way, and now you're stuck in a property that you can't sell, and neither one of the two can afford to move out and live on their own. So those are kind of messy situations, and but there are situations like that where guys have been dating the girl for 2 or 3 years. She lives with the husband. The kids are still there, and then after a year or so of dating, like I've had guys that have gone and they bought her cars, they bought her real estate, they're gonna move in together, and then she dips at the last minute and goes, "Oh, my husband wants to take one more chance to work it out." That's the downside with getting involved with somebody that's still living with an ex or their divorce ain't finalized. Is that you think you're in a relationship, and then all of a sudden, oh, now I'm gonna try with my husband because they're technically still physically in the same house together. So there's lots of scenarios like that. But so where you're going to see this kind of behavior, but the important thing is she's not contacting him directly, so therefore she ain't available yet. So don't do anything.